Hey, this is Andrew Jones. You watch On Deck with Tyler.
Hey guys, Mike Nevers here. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hi, this is Phil Necro. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
This is Walk the Banks. I'm on deck. Tyler Redmond.
Welcome to On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with all things Braves baseball. And if you got a chance to watch the game last night, Wright took the mound versus the Tampa Bay Rays, and his highly anticipated 2020 start didn't go quite as planned, only making it through 2 2/3 innings. And in the first 2 innings, he looked untouchable. He looked really good. He was attacking the zone. He's really consistent. I like what I saw, and he got ahead in the count. But after that, at the top of the 3rd inning, he led off the inning with a walk, and then 2 more walks followed, and then he eventually got 2 outs with the bases loaded, and then 3 2-out hits would lead to 5 earned runs for Wright. He gave up 4 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts in that 2 2/3 innings of work. And to be honest with you, here's the thing. He had a statement after the game, and this is what it said. I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I couldn't get a grip on the ball. And right now, pitchers are dealing with a little bit different circumstances. Spitting is banned from the game. And I know a lot of people looked at that as a joke, but that's very effective for a pitcher. Pitchers do this. You'll see them do it a lot. Check out any highlight you can think of. You'll see them do it a lot. It's to get a grip on the ball. Now they're having a rag in their back pocket they have to grab and squeeze onto to get a feel of the ball. And it's just not quite the same. With that said, Kyle is obviously not used to this, and I think that he said that he'd adjust and try to get better at it, but it does make a difference. So I'm going to take him at his word on this one. Honestly, if you watch the game, if you watch the highlights, you'll see him talking to Rick Kranitz when he's about to get pulled, and he's doing this motion right here. When I saw that, I was worried that he had a blister and he was going to be out for a week or 2. Luckily, that's not the case. It's a one-game scenario. But we talked about this yesterday. We hit on it yesterday. The question of how much we can trust guys like Newcomb and Fried is still up in the air. And I don't mean to knock either one of these guys. They both have a lot of good stuff about them. Newcomb has struggled with consistency, but he's still got some very effective pitches. And I still question our starting pitching as a whole right now. And I don't think that's necessarily an unfair statement. I think everybody's a little bit worried about our starting pitching. We know what we have in Soroka and Fried. I mean, we saw them all last year. We know what they have. But the guys that haven't been proven yet are Newcomb and Wright. And that's just because, Wright hasn't really had that much of an opportunity. And Sean Newcomb hasn't had a starting rotation opportunity since, last year. So I think there's a lot of things riding on these guys who haven't been those aces over the past few years. Not to mention, we don't have a 5th starter right now. And if we look within, it's either going to be Julius Chassin or Josh Tomlin. I said yesterday that I lean towards the way of Josh Tomlin. I'm starting to change my mind on that. But I do think that he's the most effective pitcher out of the bullpen, at least in long relief, which is why I'm starting to change my mind on that. Chassin actually had a pretty good day the other day versus the Mets. This was in that 14-1 blowout. He had 3.2 innings pitched. He gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout. But by the time he came in, the Braves had 7 runs on the board. There's virtually no pressure in that situation. How will he react when there is pressure? He's a veteran with starter experience, so I think he may be where the Braves turn to. But you have to question those things. I've heard what Snit has said about having an opener rather than a closer and moving from there throughout a game. I've heard about the bullpen game strategy. I like those ideas on paper, but I have to see them in action before I can really say how I feel about it. To be honest with you, I question it, because it's very atypical of what you want in a club. But if that's what the Braves have to do, it's what they have to do in these certain circumstances. But now that Foltynewicz has been designated for assignment, we really have limited options, especially in the starting rotation. And if you missed what I had to say about Foltynewicz, you can see the yesterday's recap. But in a nutshell, we know what we have when it comes to Soroka and Fried. They're the same they've always been, probably better. But Newcomb and Kyle are still inexperienced. And that's more on Kyle Wright, just because he's young and he hasn't had the opportunities. Kyle has to step in and get those opportunities, which is what he's doing now. But neither one of these guys made it out of the 3rd inning. Is that because the late entrance to the season? Or is that how it's just going to be going forward this season? I'm not questioning the stuff they got, but it's got to be addressed here. where are we going to find that fifth starter, and can we trust these guys as a starting rotation piece? I think Kyle Wright is going to come in next game and really have his head on straight and really be able to perform and get a grip on the ball. Now he knows. I think he had a great performance last night, at least in those first 2 innings, and you can debate me in that in the comment section, but I really do think so. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter questioning the Braves removing Kyle after he ran into trouble, but I'm not going to lie, I didn't think Kyle looked lost by any means. I think he knew what was going on, and it might have been a little bit early, but you have to take into consideration the Braves are trying to win. And if your pitcher's saying, I can't get a grip on the ball, what are you supposed to do? That's my question to you. But at that point, also, the game was at a point where the Braves could still come back and win. I think they were down 5-2 at the time. So you don't want to give up a loss with this pitcher. I understand letting him work through, but you don't want to give up a loss either. So a lot of questions are around starting pitching. I just basically went through it for you. But if you're worried about Kyle Wright losing an opportunity here, Snicker said this after the game. We're going to keep running him out there. You saw his stuff, he just needs to pitch. The only way he's going to learn is to go out there at this level and pitch. You see that stuff in the first 2 innings. It's really, really good. I would agree. The only way he is going to learn is to face Major League pitching. He's got the numbers in the minors. He's if you look at his stats in the minors, he's killing it there. But he's facing lower competition. The only way to excel is to face better competition. Hopefully he'll be able to do that throughout this season. So, what do you think? I always want to hear from you in the comments section. Tell me what you think the Braves are going to do around starting position. Tell me how you think Kyle did last night. Anything you want to tell me, comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But moving on, Josh Tomlin would follow Kyle Wright last night. He would come in for 2 1/3, only giving up a hit and got 3 strikeouts. Luke Jackson, Tyler Matzik, and Shane Green followed, and they all were fairly efficient. I think they all either didn't give up a hit or they only gave up 1. But the bats last night were fairly quiet, except in the 3rd inning. The Braves loaded the bases with no outs. It was looking like a comeback. But they only scored on Marcell Ozuna's 2-out double. That was the only run scored by the Braves in that spot. Ozzie Albies would single in a run later in the 7th inning. And there was a bit of a career milestone last night. Alex Jackson got his first hit of his MLB career. It was a double off of Chirinos in the 2nd inning. But the Braves would eventually go on to lose to the Rays 5-2. So very soon, moving on from the game here, very soon Travis d'Arnaud and Tyler Flowers are going to make their return. That will be one day this week, and I wonder if that's going to help the pitchers. You know, pitching isn't a one-man job. It's a partnership between the pitcher and the catcher, and it might make a difference to have a veteran behind the plate in Travis d'Arnaud and or Tyler Flowers. So I wonder. We'll have to wait and see on that, but I am excited about their return. And I've loved what we've seen out of Alex Jackson and William Contreras. I like the fact that we have a future in William Contreras. But at the same time, you never know how much an impact a good quality catcher can make for a pitching staff. And I think right now we really need that. Another guy who's returning soon, Will Smith. We have been waiting for an update for a while on this guy. I cannot wait for him to come in and be in a Braves uniform. He's just lights out. He was one of the Braves who tested positive. Though he was asymptomatic, he tested positive for coronavirus. And he's been throwing on flat ground, getting ready for the season, but he's got to build that arm up. So the important thing here is that he cleared coronavirus protocol. And he'll be in Gwinnett before coming back. He's got to build that arm back up. And it's looking like he'll be back some point during the homestand. That begins tonight and lasts through August 6th. Last year, Will Smith posted a 2.76 ERA, had 96 strikeouts versus 21 walks. This is a guy the Braves felt could make them an elite team. I tend to agree, and hopefully he'll be ready soon. The Braves could use a veteran pitcher right now, especially. But on another note, a guy who seems like a veteran already takes the mound tonight, Mike Soroka. He'll be facing former Atlanta Brave Charlie Morton. Yes, the Braves will continue to play the Rays, this time in their home ballpark. Will that change the scenery, change how they've performed so far? Currently, the Braves are in 3rd place behind the Marlins and the Mets. They are 2-3, and this isn't necessarily panic time, but we certainly do need some W's in the column, so hopefully they'll be able to get one tonight. Again, the Braves take on the Rays tonight at 7:10 p.m. at Truist Park on Fox Sports Southeast. To hear, like you just did, the recap tomorrow, make sure you like this video, you subscribe to this channel, and you hit the bell for notifications so that you know that when that video drops instantly. And hey, follow me on social media. I'm Tyler Redmond at BubblegumJesus. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the above. Go follow me there. And plus, check out some of these great videos I've already done if you like this one. Do that, and I'll see you tomorrow on deck.